Hello there and welcome to Rajiv Gandhi IAS Academy, and this is me Nawazish Nehal, and today I'll be presenting daily news analysis for 20th January 2022. So moving on with the first news, and the first news about the IAS cadre rule. So the union government is planning to acquire for itself overriding powers to transfer IAS and IPS officer through central deputation, and they are doing away with the requirement of taking the approval of a state government. So previously the center have to take the prior approval of the state government for transferring of IS. So but they are planning to do away with it, and the department of personnel and training, that is DOPT, which is concerned with the IS and all, wrote the states on January 12th that the union government proposed to amend rule number 6, which is deputation of cadre officer of the Indian Administrative Cadre Rule 1954. So the latter comes in the wake of shortage of all India service at the union level, and presently officers have to get a no objection clearance from the state governments for central deputation. And the third proposed amendment says that in case of any disagreement between the center and the state, the matter shall be decided by the central government only. So if there is a clash between the center and the state regarding this kind of thing, so the decision of center will be final while transferring a IAS cadre. So let's move on to the what is the current rule, and what is this rule 6.1 of the Indian Administrative Service Cadre Rule 1954. So rule 6.1 of Indian Administrative Service Cadre Rules 1961 1954, sorry, 1954, yes. So a cadre officer may, with the concurrence of the state government concerned and the central government, can be deputed for service under the central government or another state government, or under a company, association, or body, or different kind of individual also, whether that is incorporated or not, and which is wholly and subsequently owned or controlled by the central government or by any other state government. So the concurrence should be needed by the state. So state concurrence is needed in this kind of law. And what happens in the case of disagreement? So rule 6.1 states that provided the case of any disagreement is there, the matter shall be decided by the central government, and the state government give effect to the decision of the central government. So central will decide, but the effect will be given by state government. So state will give effect. So this is current rule. So government is planning to do away with this state effect rule. So only central decision should be there. And what is the concern right now? So the concern is it's been called a balanced misuse of power and an attempt to encroach on state jurisdiction, and federalism would be in danger if this kind of laws are there. So this is kind of a misuse of power, we can say, would happen. Misuse of power and danger for federalism, means especially the kind of corporative federalism we have right now, means states are cooperating with the center and two states are cooperating with each other. So it's also a danger to cooperative, not cooperative, sorry, cooperative federalism. So it's a danger to cooperative federalism also. And what happened in earlier December 2020, the home minister had attached 3 IPS officers of West Bengal cadre, but the state government didn't relieve them. So that those 3 IPS officers are still in working in the West Bengal government, although the state wanted that them. But due to this rule, they are still working with the West Bengal government, and they are still not there in the center. So if this rule is removed, so center have the full authority over all the kind of like center service, and state would have no say about the role of those IS and IPS. And following this, petition was filled with this which stressed the unique dichotomy of the law, and said that is a violation of the article 14, which kind of deals with fundamental rights. So say it's a violation of the article 14, this law will be violating that. And it claimed that rule has created havoc in law and order situation, and also in the administrative structure of the state government. So created havoc could be a point. See, this kind of point, we have already sent you the PDF, and all these points are there, but I'm just kind of rephrasing it over here. So moving on, so Haryana law may hit jobs. This is the second news. So what is happening is that the the law guaranteeing 75% reservation to locals in private sector jobs in Haryana will come into force earlier this month, and the regaining state sentiment among various stakeholders is kind of disruptive. And three industry associations from Gurgaon, Faridabad, and Rewari, which are all there in Haryana, have shouted judicial resources in a petition filed before the Punjab and Haryana High Court. So a unique thing about Haryana is that Punjab and Haryana both have a same High Court, that is Chandigarh High Court. Okay, both High Court are in Chandigarh. So they have short petition in the Chandigarh High Court, and they have kind of they contended that the new law goes against the constitutional provision and the basic principle of merit under planning. And also almost 99% of the micro and small and medium enterprises, that is MSME. So almost 99% of MSME employee are earning less than 30,000 rupees. So if they are earning this much money, so they will be coming under the law. So almost 99% of the worker will be coming under this law. And though the law allows relaxation to hire non-locals in certain conditions, the industrialists are very skeptical. So therefore reservation in job would also skew the workforce, and the balance between local and migrant, and also will disrupt the smooth running of the business. So moving on with what is this law is exactly. So it requires firm with 10 or more employee to reserve 75% of all jobs offering a salary of less than rupees 30,000 per month for eligible candidate of state domicile. So if one is earning more less than 30,000 per month, 75% job should be reserved for the state of Haryana people. Okay, and jobs will be provided in various companies, society, trust, and this kind of thing. And the move is aimed at disallowing the influx of talent from other part of the country. So we can say disallowing the migrants of other parts of a state, even in sector like IT and IT enabled service. Okay, so even in IT we can say, although IT is kind of a high paying in, but still the starting package in IT is very less than 30,000. So this will affect the IT industry also, and this law will be applicable for a period of 10 years. So after 10 years, when the demographic balance is there in that state, this law will be removed. And the state government also relaxed the residency, that is domicile requirement, for 15 to 5 years. So domicile is requirement is reduced from 15 to 5 years for a person to get bona fide certificate. So they are kind of easing a person to have this domicile of Haryana. So previously it was, if a person is living more than 15 years, then only he can be a domicile of Haryana. Now it reduced to 15 years, 5 years. And also it will be mandatory for all the employers to register all their employees drawing gross monthly salary or wages not more than 30,000 on the designated portal. So there will be a portal will be there available on the official website of Labor Department of Haryana, portal of Labor Department of Haryana. And violation of any provision of this act will be a punishable offense. So this was basically about the law, that if a company is having more than 10 employees and they are earning that less than 30,000 rupees, then 75% should be there of the Haryana state only. And this will create an influx situation in the migrants, and also applicable to IT and every any kind of job. And currently the law will be applicable for 10 years. And also the domicile for Haryana has been reduced from 15 to 5 years. So these are the basic things about the law. So what are the concern? So the concern is, the first concern we all know, can trigger exodus of investor. So like a large domestic and multinational investor across sectors such as auto, IT, that rely on highly skilled manpower will move out of Haryana. And also it will affect existing industries, because raising like the son of the soil issue and preventing free movement of manpower resources in the state from other region can have an adverse effect, we all know that. And also on the existing industries in the state, and this may force those tech giants and other industry to shift their base from Haryana to other states. So tech giants will move from Haryana to other states, so the development of Haryana will slow down. Okay, and also it can cause extreme talent crunch, because we know imposing the reservation of gig and platform companies could create talent crunch also. And also the one unique point about this is that, which we can incorporate in our answers when we are writing, is that it goes against the constitution also. Because the constitution of India guarantees freedom of movement and consequently employment within India through several provisions. Means article 14 is there, which provides equality before law. Article 15 is there, which guards against any discrimination based on place on birth, sorry. And article 16 is there, means it guarantees no birthplace based discrimination in public employment. And also article 19 is there, which ensures that citizens can move freely through the territory of the India. So these kind of articles are there, which goes against this provision. So state have to think again that if they are serious about like bringing this provision or not. So earlier also, like this was a kind of political gig they have come across, and earlier also many political parties have made such attempts. And they told, like there is this Aam Aadmi party who told like that 80% of reservation they will be giving. So these are not, these things should not be mentioned in our answer writing. I'm just explaining this thing to have a perspective of the issue. And this follows the footstep of a state like previously, a state like Haryana also, as we are knowing, is doing this now. And previously Jharkhand was also doing this. Jharkhand was doing this. Maharashtra is also doing this. Andhra and Andhra Pradesh and Madhya Pradesh, all these states have kind of applied these kind of things, but the reservation quota is not this much, like 75%. And the reason behind such is like simple. First is vote bank politics, like the people of Haryana will vote for them, so they are kind of giving job to them. And also economic stagnation is there, because the native unemployment issue assumed relevance as joblessness has intensified in the context of shrinking government employees. So government job is shrinking, so economic sluggishness is there. So this kind of thing kind of intensify the native prospect of the job. And also there is this increased income and talent, because job for local legislation will not only retain talent but also income, which otherwise will go on the other region. So they kind of concentrate the income and talent to their region only. And also there's a kind of precondition for land acquisition also, because farmers and villagers who have basically lost their land in process of land acquisition for industry can keep such precondition in which industries have to like provide jobs to local youth. So this can be done. And even government industry, when they kind of acquire their land of poors and the land of different people, they kind of give some job and some benefit to the those holding the land. So a state can also apply this thing in kind of private sector also. So moving on with the next news. So yes, before moving on, we have to like concentrate what can be the way forward. So first way can be like the Haryana government should consider lowering the original salary ceiling of like 30,000. They have come up with the salary ceiling to like about 15,000, because this much will be exempted to that. And also the best way to grow out for jobs or out of jobs for local legislation attempts of various state government is to ensure economic recovery and to provide enough job opportunities for youths with skill training and like proper education, and keeping focus on those areas only which is there. So like skill training should be there of the local youth. Skill training should be there, otherwise they won't be like eligible to do that kind of job even if there is a reservation. So skill training should be provided by the state. So moving on with the next news. So moving on with the next news is that the regional program of regional plan of Aravali is regional plan 2041 can spell down from for Aravalis, because large chunk of forest and Aravalis in Gurugram and Faridabad could lose protection from construction under the national conservation zone, and which is already defined in regional plan 2021. And if the provision in the draft regional plan 2041 are implemented, environmentalists fear that this can be a very pathetic situation for the Aravallis. So according to DRP 2041, The natural zone, or NZ, which you can say, is a zone comprising any natural features such as mountains, hills, river, water bodies, this kind of thing. And in the previous plan, this was well defined as the natural conservation zone, NCZ. In the new draft, the definition of the natural feature have been tweaked and restricted to only those that are notified under certain acts and recognized in the land order. So there is this certain tweaking, certain manifestation from the state from its side of defining the natural regions of the state. So many of the state natural zone will be wiped out in this 2041. And also such restrictive eligibility criteria would lead to exclusion of natural features, and the deletion of Aravali from the new draft will facilitate construction of real estate in Aravali region and will definitely destroy the natural ecosystem of the Aravalis in Delhi, Haryana and Rajasthan. And this kind of ecosystem shelter a critical wildlife habitat and corridor. So we have to look into this factor also. So first let us see where is this Aravali. So Aravali, as we can see, is from start right from Gujarat to like end of the Delhi also, and goes on to Haryana. The Aravali is basically a mountain range in northwestern India, running approximately about 670 kilometer in southwest direction. See, this is southwest direction. So in southwest direction, and starting near Delhi, passing through southern Haryana and Rajasthan, and ending in Gujarat. So this is the route Aravali is taking. So the highest peak is Guru Shikhar, and it's about 1722 meters. And the Aravali range, an eroded stub of ancient mountain, is the oldest range of fold mountains in India. So Aravali is kind of fold mountain and oldest fold mountain of India. So Aravali is oldest fold mountain of India, and the natural history of Aravali ranges date back to time when the Indian plate was separated from Eurasian plate. So when this was separated, this fold mountain came up, Eurasian and Indian plate. So we all know that suppose these two plates are there, and they will strike with each other, and this fold mountain will come up. And there are three major river tributaries in Aravali, that is named as Banas, Sahibi and Luni. So Banas and Sahibi are like tributary of Yamuna, and Luni is flowing in Kutch district of Gujarat. And for example, and for just for knowledge purpose, Kutch is the largest district of India. And the Sariska Delhi Leopard Wildlife Corridor is 200-kilometer long import biodiversity and wildlife corridor, which runs from Sariska Tiger Reserve in Rajasthan to New Delhi. So like a leopard wildlife corridor is also there. And this is the thing about Aravali. And this is basically divided into three main regions. One is Sambar Sirohi. This is Sambar Sirohi. This is not that much important, but suppose if some question is asked in prelims, so that you can be ready for that. And this is Sambar Khetri, the region which is in Rajasthan. Sambar Khetri. So these are the regions of Aravali. Okay, so what is the significance of Aravali? So the Aravali is a lot of possesses a lot of significance, especially for Indian subcontinent, because the Aravali act as barrier between fertile plain in the east. See here, see fertile plain in the east. Okay, this is east. So sorry for making it so messy, but I'm just explaining. This is east, and the sandy desert in the west. So if Aravali is not there, this sand will come onto the fertile eastern area. So this act first significance is this act as a barrier. So, and also Aravali is rich in biodiversity, okay, and provide habitat to about 300 native plants. This kind of habitat they provide, and 120 bird species. 120 bird species. Okay, and like animals like jackal and mongoose are like indigenous to Aravali. Some jackals and some species of jackal and mongoose, and also Aravali have an impact upon the climate of northwest India and beyond. So climate impact also is there. I will discuss it how. So what happens is that during monsoon it provides barrier, and monsoon clouds move eastward towards Shimla and Nainital. Okay, see, they kind of provide a barrier. So the monsoon clouds moves eastward. 1 minute, let me change the color of this. Yeah, so this kind of provide a barrier here, and so the monsoon clouds which are rising from the Arabian Sea moves to other parts of India to during they move to like Shimla and Nainital, and thus helping the sub Himalayan river and feeding in North Indian plains, and so hence they are kind of helping the rivers of North Indian plains to have more water. So this kind of climate impact is there, and also yes, for Haryana, having the lowest forest cover at around 3.59% of total forest cover in India, the Aravali range is the only saving grace because it provides major portion of forest cover. So one of the significance it is provide forest cover. Okay, because only 3.59% of Haryana is in forest cover. So Aravali also function as a groundwater recharge zone for region around around that absorb rainwater. So groundwater, because the rainwater which runs in mm, mountain are sometimes stuck there, so they kind of work as a groundwater recharge zone, and this range is considered as the lungs of the world most populated air for Delhi NCR. So this can be said at the Delhi NCR lungs also, because the greenery and the lush of Aravali provide kind of filter for the danger polluted air of Delhi. Okay, and currently Aravali is going to through a mining hazard, and more than 25% and 31 hill ranges of Aravali in Rajasthan have vanished due to illegal quarrying. Illegal quarrying is happening. Means quarrying means they are taking away the rock, and the loss of great number of flora and fauna is happening. Loss of flora and fauna. Okay, and loss of like stripped hyenas and jackals and like that, and many rivers originating in the Aravali like Banasuni, and which I have discussed, many of them are dead rivers are there. Okay, and a serious ecological impact of digging or mining have a great in depth is puncturing the aquifers, the natural resources where water are being absorbed. So it disturb the water flow, results in dying of lakes and popping out of new ones, and many water bodies such as this Batkal lake was there. Batkal, Badkhal, I think it's pronounced Badkhal lake, has been dried up. So this lake is completely dried up due to this kind of mining process, and new water bodies due to depression left by illegal miners are popping up, thus creating environment imbalance. And the major reason of air pollution in the NCR is also like particulate matter also is having a particulate matter is also having a harmful effect on the Aravali ranges, the flora and the fauna of Aravali ranges. So moving on with the next news. So the next news is about the dip in the eastern swamp deers, and these swamp deer are basically in common term is also known as Barasingha. Okay, so there is a dip in the number, and the population of vulnerable eastern swamp deer extinct elsewhere in South Asia has dipped in Kaziranga also. So in Kaziranga, they have also gone down, and official attributes decreased from 907 individual in 2018 to 868 during the eastern swamp deer estimation, which was happening in January 10 and January 11 in 2022. And this is because there were two floods between in 2019 and 2020. So due to these two floods, So they are shrinking to a greater rate. And on the brighter side, the environmentalists are saying that animal is now distributed to the new area. So now they are discovering new areas beyond the park zone, that is beyond Kaziranga, and also known as the world best address of the one horned rhinoceros. So now they are expanding their areas. Barasinga are expanding their areas, and the eastern swamp deer is endemic to Kaziranga and is not the primary prey of park carnivorous animal, and primarily the tiger. And but its population is crucial for ecological health of tiger, because we all know food chain is there. So maintenance of food chain is done by this Barasinga. Although tiger do not directly eat them, but maintenance of food chain and hence the ecological balance is provided by these. And yes, these are the things about Barasinga. And this is how a Barasinga look. And subspecies are there. There are basically three subspecies of Barasinga which are found in Indian subcontinent. So the first is western swamp deer, and this is found in Nepal. Then there is this southern swamp deer, and also known as like hard ground Barasinga, and they are found in central and North India. Okay, and there is this eastern swamp deer. So basically, like, due to their geographical location, they are distributed. So eastern swamp deer found in Kaziranga, that is in Assam, and in Dudhwa, that is in UP. So Dudhwa National Park and Kaziranga National Park. So basically three kind of swamp deer: western, southern and eastern. Western found in Nepal, southern found in central and north India, and this eastern found in Assam and UP. In Assam they are found in Kaziranga National Park, and in UP they are found in Dudhwa National Park. So speaking of the protection status, this is IUCN red list, is like this is vulnerable in IUCN red list. In sites they are in appendix 1, because these kind of things have been asked in previous year. And in previous year a direct question from Kaziranga was asked, if I'm not wrong, in 2011 a direct question was asked in prelims. And also, like, sites is there, IUCN is there, then there is Wildlife Protection Act 1972. In that they are in schedule 1. So I think this is about all the things you need to know about Barasinga. And moving on with the Barasinga, as we have seen they are in Kaziranga. So the state of Assam is kind of important here. So see, I would definitely urge you all to Google and like kind of memorize the different national park and the protected zone in Assam and protected areas. Basically there are 23 protected areas in this small state. So Assam is kind of became importance. And we were seeing here about Kaziranga. So see here, Kaziranga is here. Okay, so this is like in the central Assam and along the lines of Brahmaputra. Okay, so Kaziranga is one of the most important, like we can say, protected zone of India itself. We can say not just Assam but India, because one horned rhinoceros is there. Okay, and tiger is there, and this Barasinga is there. So diversity of species is living in Kaziranga. So this became important. So I will definitely urge you all to go, and this is from the Wildlife Institute of India official website. So in there, when you will log in, you can see the map of different state is there, and definitely you should like kind of keep looking on to that if you are preparing for like map portion. So moving on with the next news. So the next news is the about India's oil production reduction. And the thing is, India's oil production of crude oil, which is refined to produce petrol and diesel, continue to decline in December. So it's declining in December, and with lower output of standard ONGC output is leading to almost 2% drop. So two not 22%, sorry for that, 2% drop. Okay, and oil production in December was about 2.51 million tons, and it was down from 2.55 million tons in the earlier year. So this is just a fact, and the fact which we have to like kind of important is that India is 85% reliant on imports of crude oil. So 85% of crude oil are imported. Okay, and their needs are as domestic output is insufficient to meet the demand, so kind of 85% is imported. So this is the thing which we have to know about oil import. So a little fact about Indian oil import is that India is world's third largest consumer of oil. So third largest consumer. Okay, of course this will come after in US and Russia or China, I think. We have to look that. And India is, like I have already discussed, 85% is total oil needs it from come from import. And the Middle East accounts for about 60%. 60% of India oil comes from Middle East. Okay, Middle East means the Arab, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Iran, this kind of thing. Okay, and also in recent months, India has brought more oil from USA and from newer sources such as Guyana. So India is now also getting resources from USA and Guyana, and these kind of countries have a large Indian diaspora. And however, due to geographical proximity with the Middle East, where the Middle East can supply cargoes in less time and at low freight rate, so that's why Middle East is the most preferred option when it comes to oil. And what are the challenges which we are facing, India is facing with oil is that, so with the retail price of petrol crossing rupees 100 per liter, we all know, in several states, with price challenges there. So price challenge is there. Okay, how to maintain this price challenge. And the second challenge is that international oil price have risen past, like now it is like US dollar 75 per barrel. Okay, 75 per barrel in recent days, so highest since April 2019. Okay, and on consumption recovery as well as supplies being short of demand, so demand short is there. These are the different challenges I am explaining which we are facing. And this kind of thing kind of producing inflammation. Okay, inflationary pressure is there. Okay, and also the exhausting the strategic petroleum reserve also. So petroleum reserve is getting exhausted. Petroleum reserve is getting exhausted. So I have explained all this point in the PDF also. See here I am just like kind of recalling it again. Petroleum reserve is getting exhausted. Okay, and India oil demand has also risen 25% in last 7 years. This is kind of important point which we can use in our mains answer writing also. So the demand in the oil also kind of dictates the growth of the country. So currently there is this 25% rise in the demand of in oil in India for like in 7 years only. So India is growing at a faster pace compared to another countries, or we can say we are switching to, like, we are taking more oil. So moving on, so this is like a kind of important figure which I think should be there, because this is a strategic petroleum reserve. And this kind of objective which we are trying to gain from these petroleum reserve. So the objective is to ensure energy security of the country by serving as a cushion. Okay, and these are basic fact that from which refinery how much oil we are getting. And these are facts on the oil shortage and different things. So I think you should have a, like, not just simply memorize it, but just have a trend, like top it on the topmost is the Padur. And then Mangalore is there, then Vishakhapatnam is there, just a basic understanding of the trends. So moving on, what is the Indian plan on strategic petroleum reserve? So this is also known as ISPRL, Indian Plan on Strategic Petroleum Reserve Limited. So India Strategic Petroleum Reserve Limited, and it has constructed three strategic petroleum reserve in huge underground rock caves, at first at Vishakhapatnam. We can simply say Vizag, and in Vizag it's 1.33, which is there in the figure, 1.33 million metric ton. And then at Mangalore and Padur. So that's in the above. This is in the above this figure which we are talking about, Mangalore, Padur, and Visakhapatnam. So this is ISPRL, that is Indian Strategic Petroleum Reserve Limited. So it is a whole owned subsidiaries of Oil Industries and Development Board, OIDB, and it come under the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas. So this come under the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas, and the new facilities approved recently can provide additional supply for about 12 days. So 12 days additional supply for whole of the India can be maintained from these three facilities, and the government of India is planning to set up two more. First one is Chandikol in Orissa and Udupi in Karnataka as phase 2. Okay, through public private partnership, PPP. And thus a total of, instead of 12 days, India can have a 22 days. And similarly, after like this, we will, from 22 days we will move to 1 month, then 2 months, and we can have a 365 days. Similarly, we can have oil efficient, we do not have to go, but the currently situation of the reserve of India is not, we can completely go oil efficient of other countries. So this is ISPRL, that is Indian Strategic Petroleum Reserve Limited. So this was all about today. Thank you so much, and do subscribe to our YouTube channel and Telegram channel also. We are updating current affairs and everything. Daily quizzes are there, and like daily facts are also there, which is essential for UPSC. So please do subscribe to our Telegram channel also. So I will be putting that link on the description. So thank you so much.